This is the emergency communications line for District Response Protocol. A temporary disruption has been detected in the personal contact network used by students and families. Please remain calm. This message has been issued to clarify the situation and provide immediate protective guidance. Do not place outgoing calls until this transmission is complete. Authorities are currently isolating the source of the threat. At 6:14 p.m., multiple students reported receiving phone calls from numbers identical to their own. Caller ID logs confirm these matches were perfect duplicates, including contact names and personalized labels. Returned calls did not connect to a carrier line. Instead, recipients described the same faint sound, shallow breathing, spaced at irregular intervals, as though the caller was practicing how to inhale correctly. No speech occurred during the first reports, but responders now believe the silence was intentional, not accidental. It has become clear the entity responsible for these transmissions listens before it speaks. The threat manifests visually when a student answers the call for a second time. Surveillance recovered from a parent's device shows the screen brightening slowly, far slower than normal illumination, as though something behind the glass were pushing through the backlight. When the display fully lit, the image did not show the caller's camera feed. Instead, it presented a live view into the recipient's own living room, taken from eye-level height, just behind where they were standing. The image was steady, held deliberately, with no visible device capturing it. The figure holding that perspective did not appear. Only its breathing carried through the speaker, louder than before. Individuals who stayed on the line longer than 10 seconds reported hearing their own voice whispering from the phone, not speaking sentences, but practicing them, repeating fragments of the recipient's recent conversations in a tone that was slightly off timing, as if learning speech through imitation. Responders warn that this voice is not a recording. One student confirmed the whispers responded to her movements, adjusting pitch and pacing to match the tilt of her head. She dropped the device and hid in a bathroom. The call resumed on her tablet automatically, though it had been powered off. Authorities have traced these incidents to a progressive behavioral pattern. After the third unanswered call, the entity becomes impatient. Devices begin ringing simultaneously across every screen registered to the user, each one vibrating in perfect sync, as if mimicking a heartbeat. Those who ignored all calls reported that the vibrations did not stop after power down. The phones continued to move on flat surfaces, dragging themselves closer until they rested against the recipient's hands. Under no circumstances should you touch a device once it begins this movement. The entity's mimicry strengthens with physical contact. A credible sighting occurred 20 minutes ago. A student at Ridgeview Middle School answered a call from her own number. Her parents heard her speaking to someone upstairs, using her own voice in an unnaturally calm tone. The words did not match her expressions. She emerged from her room, smiling faintly, but her jaw did not move when she spoke. The voice came from somewhere lower in her throat, repeating a greeting she had used earlier in the day. When questioned, she tilted her head slowly to align with her father's gaze, as though calibrating. She has since been isolated for examination. Her phone is still ringing from inside the sealed room. The entity appears to be learning identity through repetition. It begins by copying the number, then the voice, then the timing of breath, and finally the physical presence. Experts believe its goal is to complete the mimicry and replace the original occupant of the identity it has chosen. The process accelerates whenever the recipient answers more than once. No attempt at digital blocking has succeeded. It does not use existing cell towers. It dials directly into the devices themselves. We urge all students and families to cease answering any incoming call that displays your own number. Do not attempt to speak to the voice if it imitates you. Do not allow the device to rest against your skin. Keep all screens out of reflective surfaces. We have reason to believe the entity uses reflections to refine its resemblance. If you hear yourself humming from a room you are not inside, evacuate immediately and secure the door behind you. This transmission will terminate shortly. If your device begins ringing during the final tones of this message, you must not pick it up, even if it uses your exact words to ask for help. Especially if it uses your exact words. The entity is close when it gets the cadence right. If the sound you hear next is your own breathing, hang up whatever you are holding. It is already in the house, searching for a shape that fits.